welcome back to Java. This video is going to be input, and one of the reasons why I did classes last time was because basically it's kind of important to understand classes because we're basically going to be using a class in order to have our input, and that is the scanner class. Now this is a pre-written class, so it's not something we have to define ourselves. And essentially, again we create an object is equal to new scanner, and then obviously there's a parameter here that we have to do as well. So it is just simply not input, sorry, system dot in, and that's basically what you have to do. And as you can see here, it's asking us to import it. So if you have Eclipse, it's pretty instantaneous, but this is the import, and it's basically a part of it comes with Java. Basically this is already included, so this is a pre-written class that we can use, and you pretty much have to use this if you want to do any sort of input. So in terms of input, essentially what this allows us to do is it allows us to type something into the console and then get whatever result that we want. So in this case, let's just have it print what we say. So in this case, scanner input equals scanner system in, and then what we have to do is we have to create a variable, and that variable is going to be whatever. Let's say it's a string. Usually we use strings, and let's call it hello, or actually no, that's a bit restricting, right? Let's just call it let's just say S for string, and let's just say it is equal to input dot next line. Now this is a method of the class scanner, right, which is basically input, right, which is the name of our object. Yet again, this can be anything too, by the way. It doesn't have to be input, it can be anything you want. You can call it scan. I've seen people call it scan, but I like to call it input. So what's happening here is we're creating a variable, and this variable is going to basically wait for us to input a value to it. And so once we input that variable, it then is that variable, it's going to assign a value to this. It's going to assign that value. So what we can then do is we can go down here and we can go system.out.print line, and what we can do is we can say something pretty interesting. We can say, let's say we're putting in our name. We could go hello. I don't need that. We could just say that, and then we can do plus s. Alright, so let's see what happens. We run the program and we go down here and we can put in, let's say, a name. So let's say our name is Aquilius. There we go, we'll get hello Aquilius. So you see what I mean by it sort of waits for you to put in the value of the variable, and then after that's done, it's assigned. So then anything you do underneath this is then going to basically, you can use that variable, but only after this, right? You can't do anything beforehand. So this means we can do some pretty fun things. Say for example we wanted to have a class, and let's say just like last time we wanted to make a person class. Class person, and then go in here, string name, and then that's about it. Let's just say name, keep it simple. Yet again, you could do anything you want. And then, so we have our name for the person, and then what we do is we go down here, and then we go person, p equals do, person, and then we need a constructor. Right, just like I told you, and it takes in a string, and then we make this dot name is equal to n. Okay, and so now we do that. S is put into the person object, and so this now has a value inside of it that is equal to whatever this is. So usually you'll have some sort of prompt, as they would call it, and basically what that means is it's basically just something telling you that you need to input. So let's go system.out.println, and let's say type name here. Okay, and you do that. And then what then happens is that, let's say for example we have our person and then we put S into it. Let's say then we want to system out the name of the person. So let's say hello, and then we'll put plus p dot name. There we go. So let's see what happens. So yet again, we can type the name here. Let's say Matt. There we go. So, and now this is attached to the p, to this variable, right, to this person object. So anything we do with that, it will now have this name attached to it. So you can imagine the things we can do with this. We'll explore it a little bit more related to other things, but this is pretty much the essential way to do input. So there you go.